All right, now welcome to SC Custom Designs. I'm doing an episode on all the pieces that culminate into my stairwell project. And boy, I tell you what, the journey has been a lot of fun. And the creativity part of me had to come out, basically to say, hey, I can make something very simple and, or I could really get into it and go to that next level. And so us woodworkers, we take the pride in what we're doing, and it's just something it's in our being. We just like to create things, So I basically stirred my coffee with a piece of wood. Did anybody pick up on that? That's how much I like wood. This is French press. Oh my gosh. So I thought I'd do a video where I could just have a little bit of fun, all the while wrapping up 2020. Want to say thank you to all my subscribers and those the potential subscribers to my channel. We have a lot of fun. When I say we, me, I have a lot of fun in my wood shop, and just love to create things and take on projects. This year has been very interesting. I spent a lot of time on my porch. You can look up the series on that, on the porch repair. Outside of that, I think I spent a lot of time in the garden as well. But basically, my front porch was my project in the summertime. I wasn't in here much, other than cutting pieces out for the porch, so on and so forth. And it's weird that I'm just going blank on what I did in 2020. But anyways, it's we're between Christmas and New Year's. New Year's says 2021 is coming in. And so just wanted to do just a little bit of a wrap up and say thank you. Oh yeah, and we are doing a giveaway. I'm going to be giving this away. All I need is for you to pay for that to get shipped to your house. So some lucky winner or blessed winner is going to get this. It's called a chest mate dovetail jig, and it's from Prozzy USA product. So if you're interested in that, let me know. One gentleman so far said, I'm very interested in that. I hope he wins it. But, just I still have to look up the rules for how YouTube does that type of thing. But this will be our first major giveaway. I'm a very small business. So, I don't have sponsors or anything like that. Not sponsored by this company. My disclaimers, I'm not sponsored by anybody. So, we hope that changes in the near future. Hopefully 2021 will bring us some sponsors. So at any rate, I wanted to show you the pieces of the project for the stairwell. And basically, if you haven't watched the series yet, please look it up, the stairwell series. Basically, I needed to stop all the heat going from the, I'm in the basement now, so the first floor over into the second floor and the third floor. And so I would put polyurethane up every year, and my wife's like, can we get out of that ghetto and make something nice? And this year, just for some reason, I decided, yes, well, let's do it. So I created these pieces that you see behind me. Just make sure that we're still rolling here. I don't have any high-tech equipment, just use my phone. And I have 1400 lumens of LED shining. It's so bright, can't even see my phone. Okay, so I'll tell you what, let's just break it down a little bit. The easiest thing that I made, I would say, would be these frames that hold the plexiglass. I still have the protective coating on there. So that basically, we made two of them. Although this guy here has a piece that I have to biscuit joint to it. Ugh. And that's this piece here. At the moment, it's basically just pinned in the back to hold that piece on. And I have a screw going up this way. And so I need to biscuit joint this so it becomes one piece there. How I joined this frame there and this frame here was basically just with 3.5-inch screws that go into the wood this way, like this. And at some point, I will take it completely apart and put Gorilla Glue in there, and then put the screws back in there. There's no concern for wood shrinking and expanding. There's plenty of room for the plexiglass. So you got to consider that with wood, especially pine. Pine is like a sponge, you know. So there's that. So that's this unit here. Really, the challenge was not so much as making these two pieces here; it was hanging them. You know, you have stairwell, you know, so you have the rail, and then you have the spindles like this, and this guy here goes on this side, meaning the fireplace area. The steps are here, and so I had to put a series of blocks and this, that, and the other. You know how it goes. You know, you just gotta figure it out, especially when you're working alone. So some of the whoopsies that I had came in the design when I thought, okay, I want to have it look and configured this way. So, for example, or that this unit here, as you're coming down the steps, this is what's under your head. You walk under this. And so I had this basically in the middle of the stairwell, okay? And then my lovely one said, can you move it over that way? And so I had already made this piece here, which basically, you can see this cutout here. This piece comes up into that. And then to boot, I was off a few inches. And so I have another one under here. I had to make two of them. So the original one, let's see which one is longer. And that's just the way it goes, you know. Sometimes things don't go your way. So this was too short. So I had to make him longer. So I finally got him into place. I know it's hard to envision this, but this is basically a top supporting piece that goes into the trim in the ceiling area. So then I had to dump that, take this off, and come up with a different system. So that different system is basically became something like this, but there you go. So now the whole window is moved over this way. Okay, so that's that. All right, now I'm going to show you the most challenging piece that I made here, and that was this panel piece. This is pretty cool, I would say. I turn it that way, you can see the raised panel, and essentially even the frame area has the cutout for the rail system, you know. So all the spindles are behind this, and this is put into the side like that. So that was a lot of fun to make. So look up the series to see how I made this guy here. All right, he was a lot of fun. This hairpiece is not one piece of wood. It's a 1x12, which we know is less than 12. So I had to add another piece on in order to fill this whole cavity with the raised panel. Okay, so the tool I used to make this was the fraud raised panel bit, which look up the series, and I see how I did that. We used the the bench dog router table. To create it, I have to move this monstrosity out of the way. All right, so we use the bench dog over here, and we use the horizontal router table as well. So between those two guys there, we use the bandsaw. I think you can see that in the background. We use the rigid oscillating sander. We use the table saw, contractor Delta table saw. Use the radial arm saw. And I still am going to be planing down some of the parts with the DeWalt planer, the benchtop planer. So lots of fun putting this together. And I encourage you not to throw any of your pieces away when you're making something, because sure enough, you're going to need those pieces, and they help you along the journey. So some of the more humbler pieces are just these guys here, which are some of the trim that I'm wrapping the various pieces with. Okay, just a little round over with the Roman Augie, I believe it is. A little round over there. So these are some of the pieces. I have to say that working alone, my third hand was my pen gun. I was able to use the pen gun. It's a 23 gauge pen gun, and those pens are so small that you don't even see them, which is awesome. So there's no puttying that you need to concern yourself. But I was able to basically just pin things in place and then go to the next level and put in fasteners of various sorts of fasteners. But I can't say enough about that pin gun. We use the Biscet joiner, the DeWalt Biscet joiner. This is a godsend here. This guy here does a very simple thing. He makes cavities so that you can put biscuits between the stock and then glue it up. That's what I'll be using to put a couple pieces together here. I'll show you. And we have a little bit of ouchies that happened here. I don't usually do this, but so basically I joined this piece to this piece with the Biscet joiner, and I thought, let me go ahead and start cutting this piece out instead of just doing it on the bandsaw, which would have been the smarter way to go. I thought I'm going to go ahead and just inch over with the saw, an inch over with the saw, and wouldn't you know, whoops, you can't tell from this side. We're okay here, but on the other side, you can see that I have a little bit of a wedge in there. I just cut that out, and I pounded it in there, and put some Gorilla Glue in there, and so that should be good to go. We'll just and you're not even going to hardly see that or notice that, but that was a little bit of an ouchies to my pride. It's like, oh man, I can't believe I did that. But there you go. What I say about projects is, when you make a mistake, it provides an opportunity to enhance it. And if you didn't make those mistakes, you wouldn't have the enhancements. And I like the enhancements. It's like, oh, what do I do now, to fix that? Or, so don't be discouraged when you make a mistake. Just take a breath of air and move on. So this piece here, I forgot to tell you, is going to be joined in the same way I have to join this piece that's pinned in place. I have to do the same with this part here. Okay, so this as I mentioned, is going to be over the stairs like this, and this piece here is going to be joined here, like so. something like this. And this is the filler piece that goes from that area that's over to the left or to the right, depending on how you're looking at it. So this is the piece that's going to fill in that area. We didn't have, or where we bought the plexiglass, we just didn't have the sizes that we needed. And so we just had to improvise a little bit. That's how you do it. So that's basically my long-winded explanation of the various pieces that we have for this project, the Stairwell project. And so now we'll be sanding things down a little bit more. I basically had it all in place, and I just took it all apart. And my wife came up with this wonderful idea of using magnets to put the pieces together, and because this is just basically going to be up over the winter, then I got to take it apart. So as it happens, I ordered 80 rare magnets of various sizes. And if you know anything about the rare magnets, they are strong. And so we're going to go ahead with, they're going to be a week late. And because of COVID, there's not the staffing, and just basically our society around the globe has just been paralyzed by this thing. So that, praying to the Lord and just asking for protection, and do everything we can, wash our hands, to wear our face masks. I keep one in my pocket, just in case, and even around the house, if there's somebody that's visiting, need to make sure. So we just have to do our best to make sure we get through this. I wanted to show you, as I was talking there, I saw a pretty custom piece that I made, and I did a video on this as well in the series. This piece here is basically the trim that is on the ceiling. And so we have a 103-year-old house. So this guy's going to go right into the side of the ceiling and that trim there. So that was fun to make. We used a thing called the rack contour gauge duplicator. It's a 10-inch, so I got one out of the box. So we use this to replicate that trim. So if you don't have one of these, tell you what, you don't know what you did without it. To reset the thing, you just loosen that clamp there, push down like so, and then stow it. And it's ready for the next project. Really, really handy. So watch that video, how I created that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wind it down at this point. And this is my last day of the Christmas vacation. Then we'll have off Friday for New Year's. But so got to go back to work for a couple of days. QA software guy in the daytime, and nights and weekends we love to work with wood. So we also had, if you've been watching my channel for a period of time, you'll notice that all of a sudden I have all this room behind me. All this room. It's just amazing. It just, one day I had an epiphany. Like I had this rack full of tools that I had put here. And in my mind, I just swung it out of the way. And I'm like, you know what? When I'm done with doing what I'm doing, I'm going to swing it over there. And I gave myself all this real estate. So that was something you might want to rethink, the way you're doing things in your shop, and geez, am I organized the way optimally so I can, have the room that I need in the shop. This is my basement. I annexed at least 3/4 of the basement for my wood shop. And that being said, this bench here is on wheels. The bandsaw on wheels. The table saw on wheels, the planer on wheels, anything you can put on wheels. If I could be put on wheels, you just basically want to do that so you can just swing things out of the way and have that space. So, all right, I want to give a shout out to Jordan. Do it yourself. Look him up. He's here in the States. Jordan does amazing things in his shop, things that I just don't do, and he does them so quickly and efficiently. And look up Barney, Barney's Wood Shop, I think it is. He calls himself Phil from the UK. He built himself a new unit out of brick this summer. And look up Barney, Barney's Wood Shop in the UK. So he also does very interesting things. So it's really interesting. The three of us have our different ways of doing things and how we go about them. And it just goes to show there's just no one way of doing a thing. There's a lot of ways to do a thing. So, all right, that being said, I hope I didn't run out of digital room on my camera. I'm going to say our goodbyes. I may get in another video before the end of the year, but for all intents and purposes, this may be the last one of 2020. Thank you again for watching and supporting me, and I'm looking forward to all the new subscribers. And once again, you know, we're doing this giveaway. It'll be hopefully shipped out to the winner in January. Okay, so you know, let me know if you're interested in this. I still got to figure out how I'm doing it, but that'll be our giveaway of 2020. God bless. I'm going to say goodbye in the 5 different languages, including the language I'm using now. Goodbye. Tutsins, Afrikaans, see you later. Zaijian, bye in Mandarin. Shalom uvracha lekol hachaverim sheli ba'aretz Yisrael. גרתי שם ב-1978. So I lived in Israel and learned Hebrew. That's where I learned to work with wood, by the way, was in Israel. That's pretty cool. When I was 15 years old, 15 to 21, I lived there, and many other countries. But and then the last one, Mastalami. That's Arabic for may that there be peace upon you. So take care. Let's be safe out there. And I'm very excited, rolling up my sleeves if I have them for 2021 in the projects. Thank you for watching.